what's up, YouTube? This is your host with the most, King Gio, in the house. I'm enjoying my day off. I'm in my backyard. So today I want to talk to you about buying a home. You've seen videos before where you buy homes and then make different kind of videos so you can come back on, you get clicks and blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to do the same thing, but I want to do it in increments, and I want to teach you from the beginning all the way up to the end. And before I do, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell right there, and it'll notify you when I, King Gio, have uploaded a video. So we all know that buying a home is kind of hard, especially when you have no down payment. The thing is that throughout the years, even when you were a kid, everybody starts off, well, if you buy a house of $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000, you have to give a certain amount of percentage down, 10%, 20%, whatever the case may be. But there's a norm to these things. Basically, if you do a conventional loan, you don't have to give anything down. But if you don't, they basically ask you for 20% down. But there are programs. Each state has a program that helps you with your down payment, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, the first thing that we have to do in order for you to buy a house is that you have to check your credit. All right, you have different categories. You have different companies that give you that can give you loans. You can go for an FHA loan, you can go for a USDA loan, or you can go for a conventional loan, and you can go for a VA loan. Okay, an FHA loan is a loan in which the government gives you, and then you can put down 3.5% of the down payment of whatever the purchase of the house is. A USDA loan is similar to an FHA loan, but the thing with the USDA loan is that your down payment could be rolled into your monthly payment, your mortgage. Okay, if your house is appraised at that amount, or it's appraised more than what the buyer wants, then it gets rolled in. You can roll it in. A VA, you don't have to do that. And a conventional loan, you don't have to do all that. You put your 20% down. You put your 20% down, or whatever the case may be. The things with these FHA loans and the USDA loans is that you have an insurance, a mortgage insurance that you have to pay. Okay. That's the only bad thing, because you have to insure the house just in case anything happens to it. You're liable to it. So that insurance is basically, me personally, my home insurance is $600. Is for the home. You have what you call your PMI. If you get a conventional loan, you don't have a PMI. After a certain amount of time that you have your FHA loan and your USDA loan, or especially with FHA, because the USDA is for life of the loan, but on FHA, after you have a certain amount of equity, which maybe I think is 30%, then the PMI gets done with. So we have to look at that. We have to first look at your credit history. We have to find out. Don't say, "Oh, my credit history is bad, so I can't do it." No, you could do it. You just have to do a little bit of work. Do not, and I suggest, do not pay all these people to try to fix your credit, because that's something that you can do on your own. It's free. It really is free. It's sometimes time consuming, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. It really is. I give you examples. You got people out there on YouTube, and you got people out there saying, "Oh, we can take away your late payments for your car payment. We can take away your student loan payments. We can take away your student loan payment. We can take your Fed loans. We can take away your bankruptcy." That is not true. That does not happen. It cannot happen. You can take away your collections. Collections, yes, you can take off collections, sending a certain letter, because collection is different than anything else. A collection, most people that get collections, they go into collections. What a lot of people don't know is that you can get those off, because it comes to a certain time that those collections, if you write them a letter saying, "Prove to me that collection is mine," they have 30 days to prove to you that collection is yours. Anyone can go on the phone and say, "Hey, I'm King Gio, here's my social, I want to open this bank account," or I want to open a credit card, gives it to them without signing a piece of paper. And by law, you have to sign a piece of paper. Okay, you have to sign that piece of paper. Has to match your signature. So you can always dispute that. Okay, but when it comes to student loans, you cannot dispute student loans. You cannot dispute bankruptcy. You cannot do that. What happens with student loans is that when people tell you, "Oh, I can take away your student loan," is what they do is that student loans, like house loans, right? Student loans is given to one collection agency, right? Buys it off a penny of the dollar, and then once they cannot make nothing out of you, then they sell that collection to another collection agency. So what happens while your information is going from this collection agency to this collection agency is no longer reporting it, okay, until it gets here. That could take 30 days, that could take 60 days. So in that limbo period, if you check out your credit, it'll say it's off, it's already off, it's closed. The collection is closed. So here comes the person says, "Listen, I closed your student loan. I already closed it. See, I told you I could do it." But no, it's that it's going in transit and it's going to another collection agency, and then you get 60 days later, 90 days later, you get another. You look at your credit report, and boom, now you have your student loan with this collection agency, with a whole new collection agency. So that's how they do it. Never, when you're gonna go get your credit scores, I mean, when you're going to fix your credit, never pay a collection agency in full. They'll tell you, "Okay, give me $300 and we can take care of it." Don't do that, because even if you pay in full, it's still going to be on your report. Have them tell you, or you ask them, "Okay, I'll pay this certain amount, but you have to take this off my record." And if they say okay, they agree with it, then let me go to a supervisor. The supervisor say, "Yes, okay, fine. Before I pay, send me an email. Because you want that piece of paper. Send me an email stating that upon me paying this, you will remove this from my credit report." If you don't do that, if you're not going to do it, if they're not going to do it, then there's no point. There's no point of you paying that, because it's going to stay there for the next 7 years. Okay, so those reports stay there for 7 years. So if you're going to pay something, let's say it's $300 and it's going to stay there for 7 years, you might as well just not pay for it. Just wait 7 years and have it knock off. You understand? Because even if you pay for it, it's going to stay there. So when they do a credit check on you, it's going to say, "Yes, paid off, but you paid it up to collection. You paid it up to collection agency." And so if you can get that letter stating that they're going to remove it, most of them do it. Get that letter by email or get that letter by mail. And once you do that, boom, and then you go and you apply. Okay, because you don't want to have too many negatives in your account. You don't want to have to go. Don't go to creditkarma.com. Don't go to creditsesame.com to find out your credit score. Remember, Credit Karma is using CreditWise credit. That's their own credit, and banks use FICO 15, FICO 8, depending on which one it is. And you got to remember that when you're doing when they do a credit check, these lenders, they take out the middle score. So in other words, if your score is 800 here, 650 here, and 800 here, these two could be 800, and the middle one could be 600. That's the one they're going to use. It's going to use your middle score. Which is the middle score? I don't know. It could be TransUnion, it could be Equifax, it could be Experian. We don't know. We don't know which is the middle score, but that's the one that they're using. So if you're gonna go by Credit Karma and your credit score, don't do that. Credit Karma and Credit Sesame, those are good to find out what you have, what delinquencies or how you're doing in your record. That's good to know. And the best way to know is you have, by law, you can get your credit report for free at myannualcreditreport.com. You get all three agencies, okay? They'll ask you personal questions about you, and then only you know. You go into your own personal account, and you see what you have there. You can remove addresses, you can remove old inquiries, you can dispute inquiries, okay? But that's more accurate because it's coming from them, so it's more accurate than anything else. So don't go by what Credit Karma or Credit Sesame for the score. You can go for them as to find out what's going on with your report, what's open and what's not open, and stuff like that. And it's always good also to have report agencies report to you. Like you got Discover Card. Discover Card they report your credit for free. If you go to discover.com and you ask for a free report every month, they send you a free report. Even credits. Credit Karma does it, and once you open up an inquiry or you try to open up a credit card, boom, it pops up, and they send you an email. Okay, there was a inquiry on your report. Someone or you apply for something, and then it will tell you. And if you disagree, then you call the bank, or you call that, the insurers, wherever it is that they did the credit report, and they say Citibank was the one in there. You call Citibank and say, "Listen, Citibank, I did not apply for no credit card. I just received this," and they will look into it and they will remove themselves. But that right there would take 30 days. Okay, that would take 30 days. And always try to look, to make sure that you have everything set. That there's no, everything that's on your credit report, it's correct. Your addresses are correct. Your jobs are correct, because that's very important. And remember that everything, a hard inquiry or soft inquiry, those falls off within 2 years. Okay, soft inquiry doesn't affect your credit at all. A hard inquiry does. You're supposed to have several hard inquiries in your report. You don't want to have zero, but several are good, but not too many in one time. And that's how you build it. When you get a credit card, you make sure that you have your credit card that is at your utilization is at 10%, 30% at least, 30%. Don't use more than 30% of your utilization card. Don't do that. If you don't got no credit, there's a lot of ways you can get credit. One of the best ways to get credit is to piggyback on a friend's credit card or on a family member's credit card. What I mean by that is that person has good credit. You tell them, listen, I want to be an authorized user on your card. I don't need a credit card. I don't want a credit card. I just need to be an authorized user on your credit card. Because what happens is that person's credit goes to you. So if that person has 700 credit or 800, all that credit, all those credit in all those years goes to you. Now, some banks look at it and they say, some lenders look at it and say, oh, but this is just an authorized user, and some don't. It all depends on the bank. If they care to look at you're an authorized user, and they say, oh, no, we can't give you this because you're an authorized user, that's no good. But it gives you points. That's an authorized user. You can open up an unsecured credit. The best one for me is Capital One. You open up, I'm not unsecured, a secured credit card. You go to CapitalOne.com. You apply for a secured card. It goes from $49 to $200. You get approved. They match what you put onto it, and then after a while, I did one that I put in $100, and within three months, if I made a certain amount of payment, they raised it up to $200. That's a good way to do it. That raises up your credit score because it's a secured card, meaning that's from your money. But you ultimately want an unsecured card. That means they're giving it to you, but you're putting a secured card means it's coming out of your funds. But that's a good way to do it. And for those things you could do, you could pay your Hulu, you can pay your Netflix, you can pay your gas, and make sure that these credit cards, these unsecured cards, that when you get them, try to pay these cards in full. Okay, because that's the best way. This way you don't have to pay interest on them. Because when you pay interest, it's the most. That's the way banks make money. 21% interest, 22% interest, 25% interest, whatever the case may be. But that's the way they make their money. So don't get caught up. So if you buy something that's $100 and you got the $100 the next month, boom, pay it off. That is the best way. And like I said, piggyback on somebody, an authorized user, then you can do that. Okay. So you make sure that you look at your credit report, pull a credit, and find out what's your score. Okay. If you have nothing negative on your score, even with FHA, you can go as low as 580, 590. Though the interest rate is going to be a little bit high, but you can go that low. With USDA, it's different. You can go 620 to 630. And USDA and FHA loans are two different loans. An FHA loan, you can buy yourself a multi-family home, which that's another thing that you should do also. If you want to buy your first home, right? I suggest if you're going to use an FHA loan, buy a multiplex home, meaning that you buy one home that has different units. You have to stay in all programs. You have to stay. That has to be your main residence for at least a year. So you do FHA. You buy a home that has two apartments, two houses in one. You live in one, and then you rent the other one. So the other one that you're renting, right, is paying off your mortgage. right? So then after the year, if you want to leave that house and get another house on the FHA, you could do that, because the other house will be your other house will be your main residence. So and then now you got one house that's paying your mortgage, and the other house, and the other side of the house is paying you. So you live in rent free. I mean, so you have passive income. And if you could get a 3-story or a 3-plex or duplex or 4-plex, is even better, because you're renting each and every amount. As long as you keep one for 1 year, you can rent the other 3 out, and you're making money right there. You know, with one you pay the mortgage and you pay the interest. The one with the USDA is different, because the USDA, they want you to buy a home in the suburbs. They want you to buy a home in an urban area. They have no limits as far as land is concerned, so you could buy 20 acres. They don't care. As far as FHA, you have to have a certain amount of feet that you can buy, which is still good, but you can only buy a certain amount. But with FHA, you could buy a house, you could buy a double wide, or you can do that with USDA too. You can buy double wide, you can buy a townhouse, and you can even buy, with FHA, you can even buy a condo. Now, last year, or a year and a half ago, they broadened it up. They made it more broad, where you can buy condos, because before there were only selected few, but now they made it even more easier for you to get a condo. If that's what you like, if you don't want to buy a house, you can also get a condo. All right, so when you go into these things, make sure that you have your credit. It's okay. If not, you work towards your credit, which, like I said, is very easy to do. A lot of people ask me, King Gio, how much do you charge me to help me out? I normally don't. If it's something big, if it's something small, I don't charge. I help you out in every which way I can. But if it's something big, I don't charge you much. So, you know, if you want me to help you, you can always send me whatever you want through Cash App, and I'll help you out. If I can see that, if I tell you I cannot help you, it's because I don't want to take you money and say, oh yeah, I can do this, when I know that I can't. If there are companies out there that tell you they can do this, that, but in reality they can't, and they'll take months and months and months, and you're paying $300, $400, paying months, and nothing's going to get done. I'm not like that. I see it from the get-go. If I say to you, without you giving me money, and I say, listen, there's nothing that I can do, honestly, there's nothing I can do, there's nothing I can do. You might as well let the 7 years ride, or let the next 2 years ride, what you have left in your on your thing, and just start from there. And then from there, as you're doing that, you start getting yourself your secured card. You start piggyback riding on someone else's card. Está bien. You start piggybacking on somebody else's bank. That's a good thing. Also, you can have someone co-sign for your loan. So if you have a person that's willing to do it, you get yourself a house. The person's loan goes on that person's name, but the deed goes under your name. You can have the deed under your name. The person doesn't have to be in the deed. The deed can be under your name, and you just pay the mortgage off. That's another thing that you can do if you don't have it. So there's a lot of ways. I also talked about SSI. If you're one person that you're making $784 or I think SSI is giving out $790, and you have no car payments, no credit card payments, you could do it. You could do it with SSI, because my house is what, $499, and you could do that with $499 plus utilities. I mean, because they don't care about utilities, but they care about them getting paid. And if you have a kid and you and your kid have SSI, that's 2 incomes. You have 3 kids, that's 3 incomes. So they count that. As long as the SSI is something permanent and they've been having it for 3 years, they're going to have it for 3 years or more, there's no problem. FHA is going to tell you, okay. They don't care. You can also go through your Section 8 office and ask them how they can help you find a home through Section 8. And they prefer getting you home through Section 8, paying for it through Section 8, than them paying somebody else to get rich, because it'll be your home. You also have Habitat for Humanity. It's a great place for you to get a home. It's great. They help you. You have to do time. In other words, you have to volunteer, give out a certain amount of hours. Every state's different. And you just go from there. And then when it's your turn, you build your own house, and they help you build it. And the same thing, a process, some percentage down. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that it's easy to get a house. Don't get discouraged. When you go buy a house, make sure that you look at the house. You got to look at property tax. Property tax differentiates from place to place. So that's very important. So if the house is $56,000 and your property tax is $3,000 a year, it's not worth it. And getting back to the basics. So fix your credit. And then as you're fixing your credit, try and find out which program, because it's all in every state has it, even Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and all that. Check which program helps you out with down payment. Check local down payment program. Some banks have it. Yeah, I know it's a very good one. I don't know if they're still doing it, but as of last year they were. It's called the Chenoa program. They're doing the Chenoa here in North Carolina, where I'm at. There's a program through the government that lends you $8,000 for a down payment. Right? You don't have to pay those $8,000 when you're buying a house. No, you don't have to do that. What it is, it's a forgiving loan. But the thing with this one is that you have to live at the house for 15 years, right? So they lend you the $8,000, and then once you reach year 10, they start taking away 20% of that. And then once you reach your 15th year, then you don't owe them nothing. So that's forgiven. But as you're paying for your home, you don't have to pay for that. You don't have to pay for that loan. You pay for that loan if you leave the house. If you leave the house before the 15 years is up, and then you have to pay that loan that they gave you. But while you're living in that house, you don't have to pay for the house. You have FHA also. FHA has a program called FHA 203K that you can buy a home, and they'll lend you the rehab money, so for you to rehab the home that you want. Certain things you cannot get, but for the most part, a bathroom, a kitchen, a floor, a roof, that they will give. But it has to be certified through an FHA contractor. You don't see none of that money, just in case. But you can do that, and it gets rolled into your FHA loan. So don't get discouraged. There's a lot of houses out there. When you see these gurus or whatever, if they call themselves gurus, that you can get because they always start off with $300. Oh, let's get a $300,000 home. No, the house that I bought here is $70,000. My mortgage is $499. It was $492, but they raised it to $499 this year. $499. What I was paying in New York, $2,200 for a house way smaller than this, and I almost have half an acre here. Okay, so I got mine as a USDA loan because I wanted to live in the country. I don't want to live in the city no more. But if you want to live in the city, you want to do that, and you can get yourself a good house. If the city is the life that you want to live in, if that's what you want, then I suggest that you get yourself a multi-family home. So this person, one tenant can pay your rent, and you just rent, and you live in rent-free. You can take that money and do as you please. You pay your gas bill, your water bill, your cell phone bill, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you get one that has 3 or 4 apartments, it's even better because each one of them is paying. So if you get $600 here, $600 there, $600 here, and your mortgage is $700 or $800, you got $600, $1200, $1,800 coming in. You got to put in $700. You're still making good money. And that money you can take and you can reinvest it. You can reinvest it. So it's important that the first thing you do is that you check out your credit score. Forget about my credit score is low. Forget about that. Let's check out your credit score first, and then you go on from there. Remember that I usually use brokers because they have in-house write-offs, underwriters. They have underwriters there. But for the most part, I go for brokers, and the real estate agents that you work with usually have brokers that they work with. And also remember that when you do apply for a house, you have an unlimited amount of brokers that you can have your credit pull for 30 days, and it only be one pull. So you can go to 30 different brokers. It's not going to be 30 different pulls. It's going to be 30 pulls, 30 brokers, but just one pull. That's it. That's the law. But you have 30 days for that. After that, it's totally different. So you just don't get stuck. And that's how you do it. Go to my annualcreditreport.com. I'm going to leave a link down below. Go there, do your information, find out what, they won't tell you your score, but it will tell you what open accounts you have, what closed accounts you have. If there was because you got to remember, accounts got to close 7 years. They have up to 7 years to close. Okay, so if you got something today and you didn't pay, if you got something last year and you didn't pay it, and it's in collection, that has 7 years it has 7 years for it to fall off. Your hard inquiry has 2 years to fall off. So you have to wait 7 years. Your bankruptcy can fall off between 7 to 10 years, depending on what chapter you go on. And that has to be that. And once that comes up, that has to go to the courts. The courts have to write a letter, summation, whatever. Boom, all that goes into public record. You know, and even if you have an even if you have a bank, even if you went bankrupt with FHA, after 2 years or 3 years that you've been in bankrupt, you can apply for an FHA loan, even being bankrupt. Isn't that amazing? So there are ways that you can get your home. There are ways that you can do that. So I'm doing this tutorial so I can let you guys know how to start off. Start off with checking your credit. Don't get discouraged. I have a 400, I have a 300. First, check your credit. Work with me. Tell me, King Gio, how could I do this? How could I do that? I will help you out. I would take you to the right directions where you can get credit quickly. And as long as you follow the rules that I tell you, like if I tell you, okay, like I told this guy in Puerto Rico, he wanted me to help him get a bank loan. I said, okay, I'm gonna help you get a bank loan. I took I disputed two of his two items in his report. They came off. Once they came off, I said, once I do this, do not take anything out of credit. Don't apply for credit. Don't do anything on credit, because that's gonna hurt you. He did what I said, and he got the $5,000 credit that he wanted to remodel his home. And he goes, Gio, thank you. And for that alone, all I charged was $120. Just for that, I could have charged more, but I'm not greedy, you know. So that's what I did. So don't let other people say, give me $600, I'll do this. No. Just, you could do your due diligence. You could do it on your own. It takes, like I said, it takes time, but it can be done. You can do it on your own. You don't have to worry about someone doing it for you. And if you have any questions, just let me know, okay? Like I said, every state has a down payment program. Every state has a down payment program. There are some states, like in upstate New York, they have a program where when you move in, they help you, as long as you stay there for a certain amount of time, they'll refurnish your windows. They'll put your windows brand new. And if you decide to sell the house, the person if you still that program, the person that's going to move into the home has to qualify for that program. If not, you're on the hook for that. But there are programs out there that makes you, that you could have a home. So don't get discouraged by, oh, my credit is this, or my credit is bad, or my credit is, no, don't get discouraged. Let's work one thing at a time. It took me, to be honest with you, I started doing this January, I would say January, February of 2019. And I had to fix everything that was on credit, everything. I put my credit card down, and I don't have the best credit there is in the world. I really don't. Put everything down, and then I came down to it. And then when it came down to October, that I knew that my credit was at a certain point, I applied for a loan, and they only gave me $70,000. Okay, so I said, okay, fine, let's find a home. That's $70,000. So we did find a home that was $70,000, and then they appraised it, and the appraisal came back to $73,000. So what I did is I took my appraisal and I rolled it into my payment. So out of my pocket, at the end of the day that I started this off in 2019. I signed a contract on February 3rd, 2020. And out of my pocket, all I paid was $595, and that was only because I paid the first month's mortgage and the interest. Then everything came out to $5 and change. So I didn't have to pay my mortgage. I didn't have to pay my mortgage for the first time was in April the 1st. Okay, and that's what I did. So coming from New York, from the Bronx, from Staten Island, paying $2,200 a month for a home, to come down here to North Carolina to pay $499 for a home, that's half an acre. If you could see, I'm gonna show you. Look, I got all that. Not back there. Mine reaches to that fence. That's my fire pit. That's my barbecue. That's my shed. Right? And that's the house. And the house downstairs, it's fully basement. It's a full basement with bathroom, kitchen, living room, 2 bedrooms, and upstairs the same way. Upstairs, they're both the same size, 994 square feet. All right, and the whole entire lot is, I think, it's 18,400 and some odd square feet. So it's not bad. So I can't complain. So if big is what you want, then go for it. But don't get discouraged with your credit score. Also, I forgot to tell you, these jobs, when they're going to give you the credit score, when they're going to give you these loans, they want you to have a job that that you're gonna have something working for 2 years. On SSI, no. On SSI, you don't have to show them your income for 2 years because you're already getting SSI. If you've been getting it for the past 3 years, it's even better. You could do that, but they will ask you for 2 years of your W-2 forms. Make sure that you have that. If you're going to move to another state, make sure you tell them that you're going to relocate. And if it's something that you want to relocate and you have no job, but you do have the money that you can live off for a couple of months, tell them you're going to relocate to that job that they're going to call. So once you move there, get your ass up and get yourself a job. You don't want to lose your home. Also, they will ask you for bank statements for your last 30 days of bank statement. Make sure that there's no negative on it. There's no overdraft. There's nothing there. Someone can fund you. A family member can give you money for your down payment. Yes, you can do. There are also other people who say, "Hey, King Gio, if I'm on my SSI, but my SSI only lets me keep $3,000 in the bank for there's another bank for my SSI." People, the bank SSI only knows what you have on the bank because you tell them what you have, so they have access to that bank. Open up another bank. You don't have to tell them, or keep the money to yourself. And when things are going right, and then you boom, then you put down yourself. Then on another bank account, your bank account, and you put down the $3,000 or the $4,000. Because the bank wants to see a flow of money coming in. The lender wants to see that there's a flow coming in. But there are ways. Because I know SSI you have to have $3,000 for a married couple. I think it's $4,000. I'm not sure, but there are ways in. SSI only knows about your bank account if you tell them. So if you tell them that you're Bank of America, they're gonna ask you for your Bank of America card. But if you have an account in another bank, they're not going to know because you didn't tell them about that, and they cannot go by law. They're not gonna go bank to bank asking for you. They're not gonna do that. No. They want you to get a house, but they make it difficult for you, right? And also people who are in SSI who are getting a back payment, saying that you or your kid been going for years on SSI, and especially for your kids, and it took 3 years to give your kids SSI. That back payment, you can take that bank payment and you can put it down for a down payment of a home. There's a list of things that you can and cannot do with that back payment, or what's owed to you, but you can. So if you could take that, if you needed to take the money out for an inspection, you can do that. Anything that's going to benefit the kid, and being that getting a house is going to benefit the kid, so you can buy a house. You can put a down payment on a back. If SSI is if you're owed SSI for a back pay, meaning that you apply for SSI today, and it took them 3 years. Every month that goes by, that accumulates. By 3 years come down, you probably have $15,000-$20,000 that they owe you for your child. You can take that money. You have to open up a bank account. You have to open up a bank account under that child's name. You're the payee. You have to open up a bank account under the child's name. You have to open a bank account under the child's name for his SSI. 2 different bank accounts. That bank account, $15,000, you can only use it for necessities of the kid. So I'm gonna say if your car breaks down, got no more car, you're the one that's driving the kid home, that qualifies for it. The kid breaks down the window, that qualifies for it. If he breaks down the door because he has ADHD, whatever it can be, and you put the window, the wall, that qualifies for it. If you're the only transportation for the child, that qualifies. If the kid needs to go to a doctor, you have no Medicaid, that qualifies for it. If you want to move, you're about to be homeless, or you're going to buy a new home, whatever it may be, you can take that money from the back pay and you can put it as a down payment. Always let them know what you're going to do, so they know, because SSI is a pain in the ass. They're very strict. They will overpay. There are times they will overpay you, right? They will overpay you, and then they'll come and tell you, "Oh, you owe us this amount of money." So if you knew that you was going to overpay me, you overpay me for the first time, why didn't you just adjust it from the get-go? This way, I don't have to go through this bullshit. That's the way the Social Security Administration works. So guys, I'm gonna do more of these videos. If you have any more questions, please let me know. If you want me to help you out with your credit, please let me know. If you want to give into anything, because this is time consuming, I'm gonna leave my Cash App down there. Let me know. Just put your name and put your geo. I did your Cash App. I will give you my email address, and we'll work together. Let me help you get your dream house, or at least try to, right? At least try to. I'm not saying let me get you, because I can't promise you that, but I will take you as far as I can. I will lead you by the hand, and hopefully you can buy your own home, and stuff like that. And then my next video, I will tell you which programs I have, which programs you have, what's new in the administration for Biden. See, I know he has a first-time program, and the things that you can do to up your score, to put your credit score up, how to eliminate things, because I don't want to do everything all in one video. I know you guys aren't going to stay on it for this long, but let's go step by step. And I guarantee you that if you follow my steps, within between 7 months to a year, you could have your own home. Depending on where you want to live at, what you're looking at, it's important to look at your schools and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that goes into it, but you don't want to over budget yourself. That's very important. You don't want to over budget yourself. And remember, the key thing here when you're going to rent, when you're going to buy, is your debt to income ratio. You cannot have more debt than you do have income. They're not going to accept you. Your debt to income, your income has to be more than your debt, and your income has to be able to pay all those debt, and then you have more. So if your debt is $2,000 a month and you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year, then that's okay. But if you're only making $30,000 a year and your debt is $10,000, they're not going to do it, because your debt is too high. You just don't calculate. It's a math thing. It's just a math thing. All right. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. I wanted to do it outside today, so it looks pretty nice. So I might be doing more videos outside.